following program contains disturbing materials that may not be suitable for some resellers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John with Flip It Ain't Easy. And as you see in the thumbnail, eBay has forever changed. And I know there's a lot of you that hope and wish we could go back even 4 or 5 years to what it used to be. But I hate to break the bad news, and I've been saying this for quite some time. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I hate saying that, but eBay has a main focus of making money for their shareholders. That's number one. Yeah, maybe they had that same thing 4, 5, 6 years ago, but it's even more important to them now to satisfy their shareholders. And instead of driving more sales, adding more buyers, it's become, how do we squeeze more from the seller? You know, eBay has made a lot of changes. eBay has made a lot of changes from, we were talking just years ago about managed payments, how they went from PayPal to having their own, payment processor in-house, and people were worried to death about that. That's the one change I think that may have worked out okay for eBay. But aside from that, it's just been money grab after how can we find a way to utilize our promoted listings program to get more fees out of the seller. Now, of course, if you're selling without promoted listings, you're not paying those promoted listing fees. But for most of you, I'm willing to bet that if you're not promoting and you haven't been promoting and you refuse to promote, you're probably seeing a decrease in sales from 4 years ago. If we're just being honest with each other, and let's forget about the whole pandemic thing, because that boosted everyone's sales. I'm talking about pre-pandemic, say 6 years ago. Your sales were probably pretty good because you're doing all the things that you're supposed to do. You're competitive within your categories. But now you're seeing your sales slip because others are promoting. They're paying eBay quite a bit more than you're used to paying, and you don't want to be a part of that game. I understand it, but it's the mindset that I think that as sellers we have, that we cannot be resistant to change. As much as I hate to say that, it's either you find ways to adapt or you are going to be left behind. Now, look, I'm not the only one that feels like, hey, here we are, 2025. We want a better eBay. We hope for a better platform to sell on. And all those things could possibly happen with, eBay improvements and stuff that they're continually tinkering with the platform, through AI, additional features and all that stuff that they're adding, even though it's still on an old platform. It's not looking good as far as being able to go back to the days where we're only paying 10% to PayPal, or 10% for your final value fee plus 2.9% to PayPal plus a 30-cent fee. Those days are well past us. And if you're not promoting and playing by eBay's game within their sandbox, then you could be left behind and your competition's going to just swallow you up. And I hate to say that. And looking at the comments today in the video that I put out, by the way, it's not a clickbait title. I don't think it was. Don't get ripped off. If you're utilizing dynamic promoted listing rates, is an excellent chance that you're overpaying for promoted listings to use that program, and you could be getting ripped off. So I thought it was an appropriate title because some are getting ripped off. But in that video, I have some comments from you guys. One right here: eBay is full of crap and has been for years, just like many other platforms. I never do higher than 2 to 3 promoted. People are lazy and want to rely on promotions to drive sales. Get good items, take good pictures, provide stellar communication, and offer good negotiable prices. That will go a longer way than any promotion. You'll get scumbag lowball offers, and that's a given. Had a scumbag today offered me $5 on an item, listed it at $32. It's everywhere, not just eBay and not just online selling. You have to be persistent and inventive to make any business work. Welcome to the modern world. We all have to adapt and figure it out, but the basics, like you mentioned, are still there. So even, going back 10 years ago, the basics like get good items, take good pictures, provide stellar communication, and offer good negotiable prices, that really hasn't changed. It's what eBay's doing to the sellers that, in my opinion, has changed. And really, the question I have is, how far is eBay willing to go? How far are they going to push the envelope to push out, in my opinion, the smaller sellers? Now, here's another comment. As a top-rated seller, why should I pay more for what I already pay for? And that is the comment, to me, that got me to think about making this video. And that is, I'd like to return back to 5 or 6 years ago to where things were a lot different, a lot simpler. It was the best listing wins. You don't pay your way through a bad listing to get the sale. There are a lot of bad listings out there, and if you look at their accounts, they're getting sales more than they would have 5 or 6 years ago. Why? Because they're willing to give eBay more of that profit. And then, a lot of us are doing the things that we're supposed to do, and if we're not playing eBay's game along with these other sellers, then we're going to be left behind. Here's another comment. Thanks to suckers who use dynamic or 10% plus promotional rates, we don't pay 20 to 25% final value fees. If sellers stop promoting, then eBay will increase final value fees. They have to get a higher revenue somewhere, somehow, while losing buyers every single quarter. By the way, eBay suggests me to promote 17% on some items to be competitive. That's almost 30% in total fees. I miss eBay when I started selling with 7% final value fees and great sales. That time is gone. And it is gone, guys. It sucks that it's gone, but it's gone. And there's other platforms I guess we can sell on, but none exceed the traffic that eBay brings our listings. And that's the only reason why I continue to sell on the platform. Here's one final comment. eBay just finding another way to invent the wheel, like how Disney does with their pass holders and what they did with Genie Plus. I guess that's a way to get on the rides faster. Just trying to get more out of the seller. It's sad as we as sellers work hard on their platform and they treat us like garbage. Yes, it's their sandbox, and if we want to play in it, we go by their rules. And I agree, and I've been saying this all along, but I get a lot of flack for saying that. It's eBay's sandbox, and we have to play by their rules. And no union, no seller, consortium that agrees to go on strike or stop listing on eBay, pull all your listings, is going to work, because you're never going to get 100% of sellers to agree to that. And I don't know why I keep saying it, but I guess I gotta keep saying it because I keep seeing people talking about it, and it's just not a possible. It's not within the realm. There's no changes, guys, that we are going to make as sellers that's going to change eBay's vision. eBay has a vision, and they're going to keep pushing forward, and there's nothing you or I are going to be able to do to make that plan change. We have to adapt. Now, you can still make money on eBay. That's the good news. Are you making smaller margins? Yes, you are making smaller margins. So that means that you just have to improve your processes, stop buying questionable things to sell, maybe that you were able to get away with 5 or 6 years ago because they eventually sell. Now it's getting tougher to sell because the buyer base is shrinking. eBay is not doing an adequate job of replacing the buyers that are leaving the platform. So that means that as sellers, we have to compete for fewer buyers. And if you have a lot of stuff that's not desirable in your store, with the way eBay is constantly tweaking their algorithm that we have no manual for, we have to guess about what's going on with the algorithm. And you guys get on me for guessing a lot, but if you're not constantly thinking how eBay's changes are affecting your business, that could be another reason why you're falling off and not as successful as you used to be. Well, if you're not following what's going on and how the changes eBay's making, if you're not following those changes and seeing how those changes impact your business, well, you're going to have a tough time and you're going to feel pretty bad about selling on eBay. I still enjoy selling on eBay. I would rather make more money and more profits, but we're still doing quite well. We're still up 6% over last year. We're almost at the halfway point of the year, so I guess that's good news. I guess a lot of it's going to depend on how well we get through Q4, and I've made sure we have plenty of inventory. I have a full storage unit for Q4 that we're going to really bank on, because you know me, with liquidation, it's very difficult to get good deals on liquidation in Q4, because that's when a lot of people are ramping up and buying more liquidation. More buyers of liquidation means that my availability of good liquidation at the prices that I've been paying the rest of the year are not there, and that's been my pain point the last couple years. So this year we are changing that. So that's just an example of things that you need to do. And now I know that's not related to eBay, that's related more to the market, but these are things that you have to do within your business when things are happening around you that's not in your control. So what you can control is, how do you react to the eBay's pay to play program? And that's what it is. It's a pay to play. It's like buying a video game, right? You think, oh, I spent 70, 80 bucks on this video game. For those of you who play video games, I try to once in a while, but you get that video game and you fire the thing up and it wants you to pay $10 to download some kind of like special pack or whatever to play something that you could spend 100 hours on and get for free, but you can skip the line to play that part of the game if you're willing to pay $10, $20. It's kind of like what eBay's doing. Of course, you can do the general deal where you're paying about 13% in fees and not a dime more. And by the way, those fees are unpredictable because you're paying them on the shipping, the taxes, and on any international fees. Let's not forget about that. And we don't know before we list the item, if you are charging calculated shipping, how much we're going to be paying fees on that, because we don't know where the thing's going. We don't know how much it's going to cost to ship it. You know, you can play the basic game of eBay, and if the sales, the revenue stream doesn't matter to you, let's say it's a part-time gig, it's maybe something that you do as a hobby, well, it's not going to sting as bad when you don't make the sales that you'd like to make. But if you're someone like me and you're doing this full time and your bills got to get paid, these lights have to get paid for, I still need to buy product, I still got to run my business, I still got to buy supplies and everything else. Well, we just have to dance with eBay when they say jump. I hate to say it, but if we're not jumping when they make those changes, when jumping is required, then our sales are just going to fall off. And we have to be heavily in tune with what's going on in our business and understand and develop the mindset that eBay of 2017, 2018, it ain't coming back, guys. I promise you that. It is not coming back. In fact, it's probably going to get worse before anyone thinks it's any better. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but eBay that we know it has changed, and it has changed forever. So I want to know your comments down below. Not a very positive message, but the positive thing I can take away from this is I'm going to continue to make money, and I don't care what eBay does. I'm going to do what I can, whether that's taking smaller margins, listing more items at the same time, pushing myself a little harder if I have to because my livelihood depends on it. But figuring all that out and what these changes that eBay makes constantly is going to do to your business and your life is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. By the way, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, get yourself in the next 24 hours. And again, keep pushing. Don't let these kind of things bring you down, and just keep grinding, guys. The results will come if you put in the work. I promise you that. So take care, everyone.
Returns and lowball offers too. Zero takedowns, they're a pain. What can we do? High selling fees, bad buys, and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. stand above the rest. Focus on the thing that is within your control. Hang with the pen, ain't easy. Let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast. Profit Playbook's the name. With Scott and Josh, flipping's more than a game. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll